Hey everyone, welcome back to the M&R Show. I'm Ron.
Now, Malcolm.
Hey, we got G in the building. A huge Duke fan. I mean, I hear.
Yes,
We ain't got a
sir.
chance to talk about
G.
Duke though.
I haven't heard a lot about Duke coming from G. Talking about Duke's a
No,
G
I don't.
fan.
I don't like Coach
No,
K. I don't like Coach K.
Well, I
you
mean,
don't
it's
like Coach K.
Coach
How
K's
can you
last
be a Duke
season.
fan? You don't like Coach K? Like, that's crazy.
I hate
I just don't understand. But okay, you got it though.
Yeah. So today we're gonna be getting into this Duke versus UNC matchup. We know it's one of the biggest rivalries in the history of college sports. But we got, the new coach, black guy, Hubert Davis, doing a heck of a job at UNC. Probably one of the hottest teams in the tournament. They knocked off probably the previous hottest team in the tournament, the 15th seed. But he's going against Duke. I think I should start this one. I mean, I think Duke still gets the win, though. I mean, Paulo's been playing great with he's been ball handling way more for some reason in the tournament. I'm not sure why Duke wasn't using him in that way during the regular season. He's been rebounding good. AJ Griffin has been lighting it up from three. I think AJ Griffin's probably a top 14 pick now, like just because he's been shooting so good in the tournament and then going back to the season. I think UNC's been hot and everything, but I think this is kind of where their luck starts to run out a little bit. I think it'd be a good game. The guard play with Roach versus Caleb Love should be a good matchup. But overall, I think Duke kind of steps it up for Coach K in his last year. What do you think, Malcolm?
Yeah, man. This might be one of the greatest rivalries of all of sports, and the fact that this will be the first time that they'll ever play against each other in the NCAA tournament is crazy. But if you look at this though, this might be like one of the best rivalries in sports if you think about it. Like, this might be one of the most talented teams that Coach K has had in a while as far as, first round prospects. Literally, you can name like 5 first round prospects on this team right now. But to be honest, this game will be figured out with guys like Wendell Moore Jr., who's a very versatile player, and he's been doing very good as far as in his tournament. But one guy, if you look at this Duke team, they always like to go into the paint. They always like to, drive into the paint. You heard the little saying that, Coach Lorenga had, at Miami about how they always like to drive. So I think one person who's really important is Trevor Neal and how he can be able to move around the backcourt. He doesn't really need the ball. And he did very good last game. He shooting 5 from 8 from the 3-point line. But I think he's like the type of player where they need him to make shots because they're going to do a lot of drive and they need a guy like, Trevor Neal to be able to make a shot. But this is a good North Carolina team. They was hot. They killed, Duke on my Coach K's last home game, which shows a little, jealousy on Duke's side because, there was a couple coaches not shaking people's hands. So I think this is going to be a crazy rivalry that I'm so excited to see. What about
you? This may be the greatest national championship run since Duke went on the Grayson Allen run with Jahlil Okafor and Justice Winslow. Like, literally, this is like the greatest thing I've seen. And when we beat them, it may be the greatest moment as a Duke fan since Austin.
Oh my gosh, you're talking as a fan now,
Yeah, since Austin Rivers hit that jump shot. I mean, yeah. So, I would say I am worried that this is a trap game for Duke because this just may be a team that has your number. Like how Tech, because we're all in the ACC. Like, I don't want to play an ACC team this late. I don't want to play an ACC team in the tournament anyways to begin with, let alone right in the Final Four, let alone this may be Coach K's last game. Like, this could be a trap game. Like, I would say we really need to watch out because this may be a team where we all can say Duke is better. But it's not always about who's better. It can always be about how teams match up. And this team matches up with us very well. They aren't scared of us. All that prospect and stuff, that aura, that talent, that scares team, it doesn't matter at all. Caleb Love can get on the court and look like the best player on the court. And that scares me. But at the end of the day, there should be no reason why the NCAA or the Duke Blue Devils or the referees allow Duke to lose. So I have Duke spread.
He had that whole story, I swear.
We should win. And shout out to Mark Williams, though. My boy from the 7-5. He caught an L to Bayside, but hey, he about to go to the league, baby. Best rim protector in the NCAA this year, too, man. Shout out Mark Williams. Let's go, Polio. Second pick in the draft. Championship season loading. Let's get it.
All right. Well, it's good to hear what you have to say as a fan and, your little perspective and everything like that. But I think that one thing you note that this is one of the best Duke teams that Coach K has had in a while, which, I've said. But I think one thing is, you're right. A game that Duke feel like they should not play to block them from going to the championship is a game that they had to play against an ACC opponent, let alone a North Carolina opponent. I think that's going to be the worst thing for a team like Duke to be able to play against, because they've played you already. They already know how you are. And, Hubert was on the staff before, so he already knows, how Duke is. And UNC has been on the road. So this is like the worst game Duke can play. Now, if Duke was playing against another team, then that's different. And I think this might be the hardest team that Duke going to have to play for the rest of the tournament. I think this UNC game is going to be the game that's going to be either between Duke getting the championship or getting out in the Final Four.
Yeah, we're definitely it's a lot of prospects, like you said, in this game. And I think with Bachero, it's a top 3 pick. We all know that's pretty locked right now. A chance to go number 1 if he has a good next 2 games. It's a lot of pressure on the kid, but he's been playing really good, and he got a lot of confidence. He got a lot of swag. He was checked out the first 10 game season. Everybody knows that. He was lazy as crap on defense and everything. But he's been, maybe because it's Coach K's last year in the tournament, he's locked in right now. I think he's going for the number 1 pick slot. He seems like a guy that wants to be number 1 just for his own ego. Seems like he's that type of player. I think he's going to be the one that's going to decide this game. Not that's a hot take or anything, but I think he's really, like, him playing good or bad is going to decide Duke winning or losing this game.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. He better show up.
Any final remarks from anyone?
Nah, just make sure y'all tune in, y'all. It's going to be a very good game. It's going to be a historic game. So
This Saturday.
I just think everybody should clean it. That should be a national holiday. Like, it should be like martial law. Everybody should be in the house by 8:00, and you have to watch it. Like, all the channels should be Duke UNC.
Like, I don't even mean to continue on this topic, but do you know how big this will be? Like, a lot of people are going to be here, different stars and stuff like that. This might be the most, entertainment that the Final Four NCAA tournaments has had ever. Because you're talking about so many big name athletes and actors, stars. Everybody's going to be here. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, you still got Villanova.
It's going to draw so many.
You still got 2 other big programs too. You still got.
But they're going to forget about that, because you're watching the Duke and UNC game. Like, it's going to this is going to have a record number of views, a record number of attendance people. It's going to be a crazy day. It's going to be a crazy game.
Facts. And on that note, if you're listening on our Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, make sure you are subscribing and sharing the podcast.
Follow us on Instagram at Malcolm Ron Show, or follow us on Twitter at Malcolm Ron Show. We have different live takes, and we have different, hot takes from Ron's side. Ron likes to say things, and make sure y'all follow G on No Layups. He has a lot of things that he talk about, and he talk about my Celtics. So that's something that we should talk about. But then, and on Instagram at Malcolm Ron Show, where Mont does a good job of posting different content and stuff. So make sure y'all tune in, y'all.
All right.